Hello, welcome to episode 112 of the Epic Film Challenge 2 of 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. We're going to go out with kind of a bang. We're going to go out with another double bill, 2 John Carpenter films that are in the book. I wish there were more, but we're going to do the 2 that are in there. You can probably guess what the next one's going to be, especially this being posted on the 31st of October. But for now, we're talking about The Thing from 1982, or John Carpenter's The Thing. Remake from, I believe, a 50s film. And the next film we're talking about, which of course is Halloween. It's interesting how in that film people are watching the original Thing on TV throughout that film. And then a few years later John Carpenter remade it. So, this film. This is probably, I don't know, it's hard to kind of section off films and say it's my favourite this, it's my favourite that. But it is one of my all-time favourite horror films. I love it so much. I remember watching it as a teenager. I think I watched it when I was about 15 when I first saw it. It blew me away. Loved everything about it. And I really savour The Thing. I think I've probably only seen it 5 times in my whole life. I leave it like 3, 4, 5 years until I watch it again. And so watching it tonight, we literally just watched it. You know, I didn't know every beat of the story. There were bits where, you know, I thought, you know, I wasn't sure what was going to happen next, you know. And I like that because every time it's a bit of a surprise again, like just it really is as good as I remember it. The story is set in the Antarctic. We have this American group of people there on one of those bases that they have way out, you know, where it's inhospitable. They're doing research and things like that, and probably there for months at a time. And this mysterious helicopter. Looks like it says Norge, whatever he said.
Norge, I think he said.
Yeah, Norge, yeah. Which is Norge.
Yeah, which just means Norway.
Yeah, so it's there's a Norwegian base in, you know, this roughly the same area, I guess, in the Antarctic, and this Norwegian helicopter comes in, and there's a guy in the helicopter shooting at this husky dog who's running across these white, you know, fields of snow, and that's kind of the beginning of the film. So what's going on here? And it's interesting because the Norwegian kind of helicopter lands right next to the US base. So all the US guys come out and they're like, what's going on? And the Norwegian guy gets out and he starts shouting stuff in Norwegian, pointing his gun at this dog. And there are no subtitles for this, but as Connie obviously speaks Norwegian, she told me what the guy was saying roughly, which was...
First of all, I don't think he was Norwegian because his Norwegian sounded off, but he said something like, get away, you... bastards or whatever, and that's not a dog, it's a thing.
Right.
And something like said something like that it was a devil or something like that. I don't know if he said get away from it or get away in general.
Yeah.
But he clearly didn't care if he shot the guys or the dog or whatever. He just wanted to kill the dog.
Yeah, and so
those are not subtitled either at all, and so you're not supposed to understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
You're supposed to think that is crazy.
Yeah.
But I like that they actually said that it was a thing, and so now you already know.
Yeah, you know? It's cool that, I guess, for Norwegian people there's that little nugget of, you know, an extra layer to it.
As Swedish and Danish.
Yeah. So, and that might even be a little bit of a spoiler, but I don't care really. I mean, if you want to avoid any kind of... I think that you should just go into this film if you haven't seen it before. If you like horror films and you like great special effects and you like, you know, just a good story, just watch it. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to spoil, like, well, yeah, actually, yeah, we're going to talk about the ending, we're going to talk about everything, so just consider this all spoiler warning, because, you know...
So many people out there who haven't seen The Thing.
It is. Well, okay.
Can we just start off without spoiling something
sure.
sell the movie first?
Sure, okay, yeah, but I do think it's great, people should watch it. Anyway, so this is a really bad plot summary, but that's how the film opens, in this dog, and there's this mystery around this dog. And... we get introduced. Well, it's hard to go into like really explaining what the thing is, you know, and I think it'd be fun for people to kind of discover it as it goes along. Okay, well let's just do a real non-spoiler thing. You know, the film is about this group of guys and how they deal with this situation, which gets crazy, which gets mental, in which you see some of the most amazing special effects you will ever see, right? And I mean ever. I don't care if you can make something photorealistic in a computer. The stuff in this film, to me, is just unendingly impressive. I mean, some of it is hard to...
horrifying.
Yeah, some of it is hard to look at because it's so gory and stuff, but I mean, the amount of skill and craft that must have gone into producing all of these effects is absolutely off the charts. There are similar films with these kinds of effects. Day of the Dead is one of those, but I still think that The Thing is kind of unmatched in how creative, disgusting, but yet impressive its special effects are. And it's not
practical.
of course, it's and that's why it's so impressive, because it's all practical. It's all done in the camera, and the thing for me is that it's not over the top, gory, really cool practical effects for the sake of just grossing out the audience, or for the sake of just going, look what we can do with all this money and all of this time put into making these creatures. It's serving the story. Yeah. It's all there to sell the idea of what the story is with this, the titular The Thing, and what the thing is, and all the manifestations of it that you see throughout the film. The cast is great. You got like Keith David, Wilfred Brimley. You got Kurt Russell, of course, the John Carpenter regular. I love Kurt Russell. He's one of my favorite actors. I always smile when I see he's in a new film like The Hateful Eight or whatever, and it's great to see he's still making films. But he's just so good in this. And when you look at the films he's done with John Carpenter as well, they're all quite different. I mean, in Big Trouble in Little China, his character is so different. In Escape from New York, I guess there's a little bit of a similarity there, but in this film he plays kind of the alpha male of the base, I guess. He's not really the leader, he's not the boss, but and he's not the higher up, but he kind of assumes the role of the leader when things start going south, and he's kind of ordering people about, and he just naturally assumes that role as an alpha male would, I suppose. And so he's kind of the main character of the film. I think he's great. I think all the other actors are great. They really sell the idea of not only the horror of everything that's going on, the paranoia. That is key to this film. The paranoia is key to this. That's what makes it so entertaining, is the drama when the men start not trusting each other and things like that. But also they sell in the beginning of the film just their general kind of being on the base, just like what they would get up to when they're bored and stuff. I mean, you don't see much of that because things start pretty quickly.
I like how you can't trust anyone either.
Yes.
Because you don't know anything, and you know that they don't know anything.
Yeah.
So you don't know who's the thing.
Sure.
Or is it more than one? Is it possible for it to be more than one? Can it be 2? Can it be 3?
Yes.
It's like, what?
The rules are never laid down, and there are lots of situations in films where you're watching characters struggle with a mystery that the audience knows about. And this film doesn't let us into what is going on. So, yeah, like you say, we don't know, they don't know, and that's what makes it, a compelling watch. So we'll just leave that there for the spoiler-free section.
No, I want to say something
of course,
to sell it, because I watched this for the first time like 5 years ago, and that was back when I didn't find old movies good movies.
I remember,
Yes.
Yeah.
But I watched this movie with you and your mom, and my mouth was open the whole freaking time almost, because every time something horrifying would happen, I was just sat there with my eyes wide open, like in shock or whatever, and my mouth was open, and every time that scene like that would be over, I'd be like, my mouth would be dry, and it really left an impression, I gotta say that. And so if 5 years ago me liked it, really must be great,
Yeah.
And now, even now, like maybe I've seen it once after that. I just don't remember.
Don't think so.
I think I've only seen it that one time, really. But it's just freaking amazing. It's great. It's so freaking scary. The suspense in it, the paranoia, like you say, and I think it's built up very well as well.
Yep.
The investigation part, I love that part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a great movie. So if you haven't seen it, go.
Yes.
Or get it now and see it.
Yeah. I just picked up the brand new Scream Factory Blu-ray with the new transfer and stuff. Looked great, and I'm looking forward to checking into all the new special features. But
yeah.
But right.
Let's not watch that while we eat.
No. So is it Film My Suit Before You Die?
Yes.
Haha. I couldn't even start that joke. It's a definite yes. And I think it is one of the best horror films ever made, like without a
Definitely.
shadow of a doubt. And I guess for me, I mean, we've covered so many horror films in this horror month, and the best of the best, you know, like Jaws and Psycho and so many great ones. But for me, I think as far as the best horror film goes, or even my favourite, it's between Alien and The Thing. They're neck and neck.
And Aliens.
Yeah, I don't class that as a pure horror, even though...
Because there's so much action.
Yeah, but I mean, just... And I still think Alien is a better film than anything. But I mean, yeah, Alien and The Thing to me are just... And even though they're both science fiction films, I just think that that's probably the... I don't know, is that the best way to scare someone, through a science fiction film, through something that is just so unknown to us? Or is it through something a bit more kind of close to home and like a serial killer kind of movie? I don't know.
To me, it's horror things, like things that we don't know anything about. Supernatural things. That scares me the most, but I know people who get more terrified by serial killers because they're actually out there.
Yeah.
And so that scares them more. But to me, and especially when it's alien related, which this is as well, which isn't a secret because it starts out with a spaceship.
Oh yeah. The first shot.
UFO.
The first shot of the film is a spaceship.
Yeah.
But
don't let that ruin the movie for you, because that's the only shot you get of it, and then the rest is amazing effects. Okay, so don't. Don't judge the movie.
I know what you're saying.
But yeah, everything alien related and monster stuff scares the shit out of me. Seriously.
But I'm just saying, I wouldn't even go and say, oh well, it's one of the best science fiction horrors. No, just one of the best horrors. Period. I think.
Yeah.
So.
Because it's horrifying.
Yeah, it really is. It really
It
is.
is.
I could see people getting scared shitless by this film.
I'm gonna be scared of the stairs now. Down to the basement.
Yeah. So yeah, it is a film with super abso-fucking-lutely. Now we're gonna get into, I guess, spoiler talk.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it's gonna be like spoilers, blah blah blah, but I mean, we can talk a bit more freely now. The key scene that I always think about with this film is the one with the guy with the ginger hair. I forget the guy's name. Norris, I think. When he collapses and they take him into the kind of the operating room and they get the defibrillator out. You know, the two things that you rub together and you put on the chest to kind of revive someone. And as soon as I was like, oh my god, I was like, my chest was getting a little bit tight just thinking about it. And I thought I would watch Connie's reaction. So what I did was I had one eye kind of on the TV, and you were like. Like, and I was just
Yeah, because it came out of nowhere.
And I couldn't believe that even though you'd seen it, that it shocked you that much again. And like you said,
I had no memory of that.
You were wide-eyed for like the next 2 minutes. Like, I was constantly looking at the thing. It was so entertaining to watch the.
And my mouth was like.
And it just keeps piling on, and you're just like, oh my god, because he goes to put the defibrillators in, and the guy's chest just goes, and then cuts his arms off.
His chest just eats.
It's
the guy's arms.
I think that's that's probably like the best jump scare ever, because it is so fucking horrifying, and it just comes out of nowhere, and just the idea of going to save someone's life and their chest bites your hands off, and then it spews out into it. And again, that's what makes it so amazing, is that they had carte blanche to just do anything. Because this alien, it simulates people, but it goes through like a process of kind of changing, and it still has, like, I love how at the end of the film you see this massive amalgamation of a human, and then the dog is still inside from the beginning. So all the things it's come into contact with, it still has an imprint of them somewhere in its DNA as it's changing. And man, the guys.
It's a great concept, I think.
I think that the special effects team probably loved the free. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it was all carefully planned out, but I get the sense that John Carpenter was probably like, just give me something crazy that that has like part of a head and all that. But also
maybe someone was trying to like make a good dog, maybe like like an apprentice or something. I'm trying to make this dog here. That's perfect. It's ugly as fuck. We'll keep it that.
It's terrible and it's horrifying. Let's use it. But also
I love the head coming off when it's trying to escape from the body, and I'm just like.
And all the
again,
sinewy parts of the neck and the
wouldn't
muscle
close.
Ripping off and popping and bubbling and
and
strings
then it's
flapping
down
around.
on the head, right? And this tentacle tongue starts flinging around like the tail of the alien or whatever it was or whatever, and it grabs onto something and starts dragging itself across the floor, and then it flips itself upside down, and then you have like this excellent lighting on it, and then spider legs come out of it. I think it was actually 8 legs as well.
Yeah.
And it starts fucking crawling across the room like a spider.
The noise as well.
Upside down head, and it's got some eyes coming out of the neck of the head, which is still upside down, and it's just starts crawling.
And the noise it makes as well, that kind of this weird kind of howling. And they don't use it that much either. I like how it's only used a couple of times in the film, so it's really effective when it happens. And as I was saying, just to finish, I think that it was both probably very fun for the guys to do the special effects and create these weird things, but I also think it was probably a lot of hard work and really difficult and challenging. I know that there was a shitload of, like, you know, failed things. I mean, I've watched the documentary on the making of the film, which is great, a couple of times, but I've forgotten all the finer details. But I remember that they spent a lot of time on it. A lot of times it didn't work. A lot of times there was just, you know, real, I think it was an accident as well with fire and things like that. But I mean, you know, it's all there on the screen and it's incredible. And it really makes the film special, you know. I think if you took all the special effects out, it would still be an effective film with the paranoia and stuff, but with all the special effects in it, it just pushes it to the next level. Even tiny bits when they do the blood test, which is one of...
I just want to say something about that because that's my favourite part of the movie.
Yes, absolutely. It's the best
what I meant
scene.
by the investigation part,
right,
because...
Yeah. McCready,
yeah. He has
Kurt
a
Russell's
theory
character.
that since the head was trying to run away, that every part of the thing is individual and living and tries to survive.
Any part of it will try and...
Yeah, so he draws blood from every person still alive and the 2 people who just died, which was... he shoots one in the head, so... Draws blood from that one and the doctor who lost his hands. How did he die anyways?
I don't know, just the shock and blood loss, I guess.
I guess. And so he puts quite a bit of blood inside these thingies, the glass container or whatever,
well, I think
with a name on them.
Yeah.
And he has a very, very hot needle, and he sticks the needle in there, and if it just sizzles, it's normal blood.
Yeah.
And he checks Carter, who he shot, and everybody thought he was a thing, but it didn't go off.
Yeah.
And he checks his own blood, and then he's in the middle of talking, and he checks someone's blood, and you're not expecting it because you don't even know this guy, because has he even talked at all during the movie?
Yeah,
you know?
actually he did, because he made you laugh a couple of times. I forget the character's name, but...
Oh, right. Well,
yeah.
Anyways, like, I don't even remember him, I didn't suspect him at all, and
Right.
then... You know, the fucking tries to... I jumped so hard then. That was worse than the
Defibrillator.
Yes.
I don't know how to say it properly, but yeah.
The heart thingy.
Yes, the heart thingy.
Yeah, because...
I can't even say it. Let's just move on. Let's move on, yeah.
The defib.
Yeah. So
And
the
it was... that was a proper jump scare, because you didn't expect it
yeah, the
at
blood
all.
lurches out and it makes a
Yeah.
little screeching sound.
And he even says, I'm going to take you last, and so you're waiting for the last one to do it, you know, but nope. And then, of course, since the thing knows that it's been spotted, he starts changing and stuff. And that whole scene, it just builds up. It's like, this is horrifying. Let's make it worse. Let's just stick this guy down his throat. It's...
yeah.
You know,
ridiculous.
and you get stressed out because the fire isn't working. And
the
when
other
it's
guy,
working, it's already too late.
And then the other guys that are tied to the couch still, you know, and so there's that part of it. And
I'm so stressed out.
There's great lines in the film as well, like when the doctor, they finally find out that he's, was he the doctor? But the guy who was left last to be tested with his blood, and it turns out he's safe, and he's just like, you know, oh, good. And then just the way he's like, now if you could please, you know, untie me, because I wouldn't like to spend the rest of the winter on this fucking couch. And then when the head crawls away and the other guy's like, you gotta be fucking kidding.
Yeah. I actually also like every time they found out that someone wasn't infected.
Yeah.
And you didn't see them untie them or see them get the weapon, but in the next shot, that person was just stood next to him, ready, and he was already testing the next person. I like the way they skipped things because we know what's going on in the middle.
Yeah.
And that was
the blood testing.
cutting.
Yes, the blood testing scene could have been very drawn out, but the editing really sped it up without making you feel like it was rushed. It just felt like it was necessary moments.
Yes.
And so it was like, good use of time on screen basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, great film. You know, one of my favorites as far as horror is concerned, but it's in probably my top 50 of all time. I like it that much. I like the isolation. I like the setting with the snowy base. I love the isolation. You know, well, I just said that, but I mean, you know, how the
Do you love the isolation?
How the isolation ties into the story of they can't escape, but this thing wants to. You know, this thing is in a place where it can't get to the rest of humanity unless it assimilates them. To the point that when they go back, you know, and Wilfred Brimley's character kind of types into the computer like what would happen if this thing got to civilization. It would take 27,000 hours for the entire of the globe's population to be infected and to be assimilated, basically. So he,
which is clearly the goal of the alien.
Yeah, or maybe not. Maybe it's just it's pure nature and instinct. We don't know. But I like how he then goes crazy, Wilfred Brimley's character, and he smashes up all the communication devices. He sabotages the helicopter to save humanity basically. But then we find out later on that he is part of the thing. So it's like it's really there's a lot of there's nothing really spelled out to you in terms of there's no like ending where it's like and here's everything that you know that happened and went on and all this. But and again the ending, what a great ending, you know, with Keith David and Kurt Russell there just sat there. The base is up in flames and
let's just sit her a bit and see what happens.
Yeah, and that's it. Boom, and it's such a great unconventional ending, you know, where it.
You don't even know, you know.
Yeah, you can make up your own ending, make up your own mind.
Is Charles the thing or is he not?
Yeah.
Did Kurt Russell get caught in the end?
Yeah.
Are they both things and they're waiting?
Yeah,
they could be.
It's a great one to talk about, and I just like how it doesn't tie everything up in a neat little package. It just leaves it be. Brilliant score by Ennio Morricone. Just this kind of very low key but brooding kind of underlying kind of.
Is there a woman?
Trundling. Yeah, there's a woman in it. Yeah. And there's kind of just this very.
That's it.
I just love the feeling that the music evokes out of it, and it's very subtle. You know, it's not a loud score. It's just again the undercurrent of the creeping dread of this whole film. I love the score by Morricone.
I thought you said Carpenter wrote most of the music for his movies himself.
Yes, most of. That means not
yeah.
And you know, cinematography. I love the way it's shot. You know, and there's some great shots just barreling through the hallways when stuff starts really picking up that are really cool and things like that. And anyway, yeah, we could talk about this film for so long. We love it. I'm glad that you still enjoyed it. So I think we've talked ourselves into a circle. We love the film. You probably love the film too if you've listened to us waffle about it for this long. And if you're in America, get the new Scream Factory Blu-ray. If you're not, get the new Scream Factory Blu-ray and get a region-free player. It's worth it. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned later on today, or watch the next episode of this epic series. We'll be talking about another John Carpenter film to end off Horror Month 2016. Thank you for watching.
Good thing I'm excited about this one.
Well, don't ruin it.
Well, you already said thanks.
Don't give away that we've already reviewed Halloween and that we don't enjoy it as much.
No, I didn't say that.
So yeah, I mean, we're just getting off on a tangent now, but yeah.
I wish there was a sequel.
I'm kind of glad there isn't, to be honest. And
it
does, but I think that sometimes you have to exercise the control to not go back to it, and I think that some films. I always say that this is going to be completely off tangent, but I always say that like a sequel can't ruin the original. It just can't. All you do is, as a viewer at home when you're watching films, is you just don't watch the next one. You know, a remake doesn't harm the original. The 2016 Ghostbusters has no effect on the original one. Just don't watch it if you don't like it. Done, finished. But there is an element of it just being like, you didn't need to go back to that. You know. And so you get Terminator 3 and 4 and 5, and it's like, yeah, they're entertaining films, but if only he'd left it at 2. Well, I guess Cameron did, but you know, I just think it's nice when someone makes a great film or, you know, writes a great book and they just say, right, that's it, you know. That's the story. We're not going to come back just for the sake of it. And I don't even know if I couldn't see it a sequel. They did a prequel, obviously, which we went to see in the cinema when it came out 5 years ago, and I thought it was a really good film. I enjoyed it, even though there was some CGI in there, and we went to the cinema to see this prequel. It's just called The Thing, and it's about the Norwegian base and the story before this one. How do you not remember this? We went to see this in the cinema. Well, there we go then.
A new movie.
Yes, a new movie. Like I said, it came out 5 years ago. We saw it in the cinema, which means it's a new
I
film.
was going to ask that. Is it still a new one?
Well, yeah, it's new, but it's a prequel.
So it's like Prometheus.
Yeah, kind of. Well, yeah, it's a prequel. That's what a prequel is. It takes place before the original, and I didn't mind that because to me that was a part of the story that could be told, and it was an interesting story to go to. Whereas a sequel, I just kind of would say in my head that they both end up dying there, and whatever happens happens. But
did we watch it here in Wales?
In Wales, it was when you were living in Wales. It came out in 2011. So. So in other news, Connie saw the prequel to The Thing and never remembered
Couldn't have been that
watching
good
it.
then.
I thought it was really good, actually. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh no, I can't believe they're doing that, but I thought it was really good. Again, it's been...
I would probably remember it if I saw the trailer.
It's been so long that I can't remember. I mean, I'm sure my opinion would change, but...
That's probably where the second time I saw it is in my head. Like,
oh, right.
I thought I'd seen this one twice, but
right, okay.
maybe I've seen the second one. No, the prequel, and I thought that was the second time.
Yeah.
If it's similar, you know. I was just waiting for that woman.
Right.
During the beginning.
So you do remember the prequel, just kind of select.
Is there a guy and a woman in the end?
Yes.
Running?
Yes.
That's the part I remember.
Right, okay. So we should watch that at some point and kind of refresh ourselves, I think.
Okay.
But yeah.